Sweet.
We'll see. I'll see how I've never, like I said, I've never done a three-way with two dudes on Skype, so I'll have to see how it plays out.
You got to throw that in there too.
Yeah, well, I might.
All
right, welcome back to the Backcountry Rookies podcast, everybody. Many of you may know the real Johnny Mack, who is one of our guests today, and then Johnny's hunting buddy. And we could be buddies too if you want, Tony. You and I can be friends too.
Let's be buddies.
Okay, good. So now I'm buddies with both of these guys, Johnny Mack, and I got Tony Ellersick on here, and they just went on a bear hunt, and I brought them on. I want to do this kind of, if you guys remember the old stories from the season style, where I just let these guys tell the story. I'm super interested. So real quick, when did you guys bear hunt? A week ago?
So we just got back. I think we've been back for 3 days now. We came back on Monday.
Okay. And I've talked to Johnny, I think 3 times since then, and I won't let him say a word about the bear hunt because I'm saving it for this podcast. So I have no clue. I have no clue what's.
It's so hard not to say anything.
I know what's going to happen, but I haven't heard any of the background, so I'm super excited for this. Super excited for this show. Anyway, so Johnny, really quickly introduce yourself. You're an old hat, so most people probably know who you are, and then we'll let Tony introduce himself after that, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it. I'm Johnny Mack. I am the founder of Washington Backcountry, a resource for hunters new and old for hunting recruitment and mentorship. And then I'm also the host of the Soulful Hunter podcast. And I'm a school teacher when I'm not doing that stuff. So right now, because of coronavirus, I'm hanging out at the house a whole lot more. But yeah, that's what I do in my daytime.
Cranking out about 10 podcasts a day with all that spare time.
Right.
Yeah.
That and blogs.
Well, hey, that's right, man. That's what keeps the Washington Backcountry moving. So, okay, Tony, tell us about you. Tell us your background.
All right. Yeah, so I got started into hunting with Johnny at the same time. So our stories are almost the exact same, except for Johnny's the one who pursued me to jump in with him at the same time. So we were friends before hunting, and then he's like, hey, we do all these other hobbies. Why not hunt? So jumped into hunting. That's how I got into this. And then I am a maintenance supervisor for apartment complexes, and I also have my own handyman license as my how I make my money. And I help out Johnny with the Washington Backcountry side. We were on that same bear hunt together when it all started and kicked off, and so I do a lot of the video editing and just Johnny's hunting partner that goes along with it. So
you don't do Washington Backcountry to make money? That doesn't pay all the bills?
What's that?
Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. Well, I know Backcountry Rookies isn't paying a whole lot of bills for me. But anyway, that's cool, man. So going back, gosh, I don't even remember what show it was, but Johnny came on and told the very inspiring story of the first bear hunt, and Tony was part of that bear hunt. So I will link in that old show into this show description for those that want to go back and listen to it. And it's a really, really fun story to listen to. And of course, Johnny's a storyteller, so it's fun to listen to.
I appreciate it. I just got to say that I was really disappointed I didn't win the hunting story giveaway with that one.
Yeah, well,
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, you sure tried, though. Yeah. So here's what I want to do. I just want to hear about this 2020 story. I'm going to let you guys tell it. Just kind of, Tony, we'll let you tell it. Johnny can jump in, kind of dive in, whatever. If I've got questions, I'll jump in there too. But I'm super excited to hear about it. So if you see me getting all excited over here, it's because I'm excited for you guys. So go ahead.
Awesome. Well, Johnny, if you want to lead into it, and I'll tell the hunting story, so you can talk about drawing the spring bear tag and all that.
Right. Yeah. So in the state of Washington, spring bear is a draw hunt. So you got to put in for it each year in order to get it. And even though the state of Washington has the second most density of black bears in the nation besides Alaska, they still have it be a draw permit in the state, and not every GMU is open and available to hunt. So it's very difficult, especially if you don't just want to chase turkeys in the springtime. It's something to really cherish and value. So what I have always loved hunting bears. Like bear hunting is the pinnacle for me. It feels like I don't know how that happens. Kind of like, maybe the first beer that you ever drink, you have a little affinity to that, but it was the first taste of hunting that I got was bear hunting. So when I found out that I could hunt bear in the springtime, I was like, oh man, dude, I can't wait. I got to put in for this. And then found out what draws were and what permits were and points and all this stuff. And so I've been putting in every year since I had a hunting license. And this year going into it, I was sitting on 5 points. And I also learned last year that you could put in as a partner group. And I always want to hunt with Tony. He's my go-to. So even if I didn't draw a tag, I would still want to go with him and vice versa. So I was like, you know what? Let's put in together as a team. He's like, well, I only got 2 points because he never was really applying for spring bear. I was like, that's all right. We're gonna draw on my points. We're gonna make this happen, and really spoke it into existence. So that comes around, we draw our number one choice bear hunt. We're excited, been planning it, e-scouting, all this stuff. Bam, coronavirus hits. Our bear tag was actually supposed to open up on April 1st, I believe. Yeah, April 1st. It ended up not opening up till May 5th. And then we actually didn't even get out until Memorial Day weekend in May. And then that was our first trip, actually laying eyes upon the ground that we were hunting. One of the really odd things about this was with coronavirus, we couldn't go scout at all. There was no, the social distancing. They actually closed public lands here in the state of Washington. State lands were closed. National forest was closed, and all these different things. We ended up shooting our bear on timber company land that's open to the public to hunt. But it became something really difficult, and to try to figure out what it was like. So our first weekend that we went out spring bear hunting, it was more or less an experience to try to figure out where do we want to end up being. And so we saw a beautiful sow. Tony was about ready to shoot. I don't want to tell the story all the way, but I was on the glass. I was like, oh, 2 cubs, and just probably one of the biggest black bears I've ever seen. And then it had these 2 little tag-alongs that were right there. And so didn't shoot. Then the weather turned bad. We couldn't glass. And then the rest of the weekend, we were just kind of hopping spots to see where we ended up, or where we wanted to end up hunting. Ended up deciding that we wanted to go back to our original spot. This was for Tony and I, being newer hunters. And this is the first time we've ever spring bear hunted. We didn't have a lot of knowledge to go off of or experience. And so Tony and I were like, dude, let's go back to our original spot where we saw the sow. It's just like hunting deer or elk in the rut. You hunt the females, the males will show up. So talked to a biologist. They're like, well, it's not really going to kick off until first week of June. So we only saw that 1 bear and 2 cubs end of May. As soon as we got over to our spot that we decided to go back to, it was a hotbed. There was bears moving all over the place, and it was awesome. So just a little history of the hunt is the very first bear I ever shot, Tony couldn't see the bear, and I was like, it's right there. And so he ended up handing me his rifle, and I chased down this black bear and I shot it. Well, I wanted to return the favor, and so we only brought 1 rifle, and I was planning on bringing my bow. I wanted to arrow a bear, but I wanted Tony to have the opportunity to shoot a bear with my rifle. It's a little, giving back to my partner and all that. So, Tony, I'm going to turn it over to you, man. Take it away. Tell the story.
All right. So I'll start up this is our second time in this location. Going into it the second time, having been to this place and seeing everything, we had much clearer of an idea of where we want to camp, where we want to hike to, what we want to glass, all that stuff. So we are, 10 times more confident coming into the second time, going into this location. And so I have the rifle and Johnny has his bow. was the plan, and he was going to let me be first shooter. I've never harvested a bear before, and from that story you just heard, he wanted to repay the favor and say, you got first bear, here's my rifle. I'm going to arrow bear unless opportunity comes to where it's better with the rifle. We're going to fill these tags. So we were on a mission. So we drove over late Thursday night instead of early Friday morning. So we get to the trailhead of where we're going to start hiking probably at 4:30 a.m. I sleep for a half hour, no joke. Johnny probably got an hour, but I had trouble sleeping. We wake up and just start hiking up the trailhead. So we're running on a half hour sleep. I drove, and it was a 6-hour drive for me, and we took my truck. So I'm tired, but I'm pumped about the hunt, and that excitement goes way beyond just being tired. So we get up to our spot where we want to camp and drop our bags. We're kind of tired, and we start glassing this hill and making some noise because we glass it. We're being careful and quiet. And okay, there's nothing moving around right here. Let's make some food. Let's hang out. So we drop our packs and we're making noise. And then no more than 10 minutes after doing that, when we kind of gave up on the glass, I look over on the hillside and boom, bear comes out. And I go, bear right there. And everyone's just been glassing the whole hillside. And they're like, no, there's not. And Johnny's like, whoever spots bear gets $1. And so I go, bear right there. No, you're kidding. And I was like, right there, dude. And it was on the opposite hillside, so pretty far away from us. And I'm like, that's a shooter. I'm going. So
I got to jump in here real quick, Tone.
Jump in.
So first off, I'm a big fan of always carrying $1 in my pocket when I'm hunting. Whoever spots the first animal that we're pursuing gets $1. And I thought he was pulling my leg, man. We were sitting there, we're on an hour of sleep, about to make some coffee.
We haven't even had coffee yet. We were just heating up the water to drink coffee. So I haven't even had coffee.
So there's this drainage, and in the middle of the drainage is tall timber where a creek goes. And so there's a near hillside, tall timber creek, and then a far hillside. And Tony, he ends up spotting this bear on the far hillside, and I put up the glass, and it's like 900 yards away. And I'm like, okay, baby, game on. Let's roll.
Yep. So I got no coffee in me. I got a half hour sleep, and I'm like, I'm going after this bear. So that's a far shot. I'm not going to take that shot. So me and my buddy Clint, we try and side hill this timber, get over to where we know there's a little knob that points out that's kind of straight shot to this near hillside. And Johnny and our other buddy Doug stay at camp, and they set up the phone scope and get eyes on the bear, make sure it doesn't go over the hill or anything. So we make it over to that point and glass it. It's 420 yards. And so I get set up as far as set up as I could. If I could go back, I would set up differently now. Hindsight is 2020. I get set up sitting down with the bipod up, and we are running a Tacticam camera on our scope. And it's a film through the scope Tacticam, and it sticks out a little further than the butt of the scope. And it's known for giving people kisses,
Yeah, just a nice little smooch.
To kiss.
I could see the little smooch there on your nose.
Yeah, it's healing, but it's there. So I get set up, and Clint's behind me. He's like, just take your time. And it's pretty rocky. I wanted to lay prone because 420 yards. I have not taken. This would have been the longest shot I take on an animal. So I've taken it, target shooting and stuff, but not on an animal. And so get set up, and I take a shot, and whack, scope checked. Instant blood. I have blood everywhere. I get kind of like the stars in my eyes, and Clint's like, reload. So clearly I missed, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. So I go to reload and try and find him again. So when I was sitting, I was a little hunched over, and I didn't have a very good solid shot, and I would redo that if I could. So I'm super bummed at myself. My face is bleeding. Clint's trying to, bump my spirits up. And I'm like, all right, let's just go back to camp. And this is at 10 a.m., first day. So we hiked back over to where Johnny was. And he's like, dude, what happened? And my face is bleeding. And I was like, I missed. Well, yeah, I know. Like,
but let's talk about that nose thing.
I was recording. I watched the shot. What happened?
What happened? So, bad shot. Clear miss, which I'm thankful for. It wasn't a wounded hit, so I'm glad. We looking at the footage, I almost hit it in the face. Like it nicked the face. So I was a little high and away. And so I am feeling down on myself and I need to go take a walk. We know there's morel mushrooms around because we were here 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I'm going to go look for some mushrooms. So 10 minutes go by. Johnny comes down the hill. He's trying to find me, see how I'm doing, trying to cheer me up like a good friend would.
That's right.
And and I appreciated it, And I was like, hey, there's 2 turkeys over there. I watched them a little bit. And I was like, did you see him? He's like, no. And he looks over. He's like, but there's a bear right there. And I was like, no way. And now I just took 2 shots at a bear, no more than 200 yards from where this bear is poking out. And this bear is on the near face that Johnny was saying. There's a near one, creek bed, far face. So he's on the near bed, probably coming out of the creek. And we go sprinting up the hill because I was a little far away from camp. So we're sprinting up the hill. I know I took my shot. I lost. It's Johnny's turn, unless he wants to arrow this bear. So I'm like, all right, let's go. We're in the game again. Instantly forgot that I even missed the bear because now it's like, okay, game on. Let's go for round 2.
Time.
It's go time. So we get up there. Johnny's just huffing and puffing because he knows it's his shot. And where it was, how far was it?
I ranged at 377 yards.
377. So it was super dry, hadn't rained in a while, and where it was a bunch of deadfall. And so thinking of, can I arrow this bear, would have been a difficult stalk. And Johnny's like, I need to fill a tag. And I just missed, so we need a little win.
Yeah.
And so, Johnny, if you want to take over, since this is your shot.
Yeah, man. Of course. Thank you. Yeah. So I totally believed in my own heart and head, like I was going to arrow a bear. It was going to happen. I even told him about how I was going to make a stalk downhill. I was going to take a shot at 40 yards, everything. Well, this bear was downhill from us. I could have made a stalk on it, but it was so dry and crunchy, and we just missed. And it was one of those things where it's like, we need to get a bear down. We need to have a morale booster, and then we can really focus on taking care of Tony's face and his shooting skills after that. But pull out the first aid kit and mop up some blood. But so anyways, I'm just jacked out of my mind. I made the decision, no, I'm going to shoot this with a rifle. So Tony was able to set up. One of the coolest things about this hunt is we filmed it all. All shots, all things had at least like 3 or 4 camera angles going at all times. So when we get to it, and Tony's the editor, he's going to put together quite a film. We actually, even before I talk about my shot, I just want to say that we brought a brand new hunter along on this trip. So our friend Doug heard me on the Hunt Backcountry podcast. He's an adult onset hunter. He's only been hunting for 3 years. He's only shot a grouse. And he had all these questions. I was like, all right, here's your opportunity. Come get your hands bloody. We're going to teach you everything that we can. And obviously it's spring bear versus what it's like in the fall, but there's a lot of teaching moments. And so here's Doug being this brand new hunter, never seen any wild game in the field in which he's pursuing. Like he was like, I've seen elk, but only when I'm driving, or I've never seen the animal I'm looking to pursue. And so he sees Tony. We were just there. He just shot. Doug's like, oh man, what? Wow, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden we see another bear. And so getting up to the story, I decided to go prone. Doug knew I wanted to shoot archery, but he's there watching all this. So I get prone. We're filming all this stuff. And I was always saying, I'm going to shoot a color phase bear. I'm going to shoot a color phase bear. A chocolate brown cinnamon is kind of what I wanted. Just so happens that this beautiful bear 377 yards away presents itself. So I end up getting prone. I'm breathing heavy, steady my shot, make sure I hit record on the Tacticam because it can record right through the crosshairs. I'm thinking to myself, Tony just took it twice to the face with this bad boy. There's literally blood on the FTS scope ring.
Yes, there is.
Still. And so I'm laying prone and I'm thinking only about this bear. And for a split second, I'm like, I'm going to kill this bear. And even if I get scope checked. The last time I shot my gun with this system on it, I did actually scope check myself because I don't think I was prepared for like the different eye relief. So I made sure I was good, took a breath, got my distance, made sure my gun was level. Bam! Sent it. Perfect hit. It just smashed its face into the ground, tumbled, and didn't go more than like 40 yards. Because a lot of the times when you bear hunt, you expect to shoot them a second time in that they're going to go into thick, dark, nasty timber, all that. He didn't even make it to the timber. Bear down, get up off the gun, just jacked out of my mind. Turned to Tony, give him a big hug. And here's Doug just like eyes wide open being like, what a turn of events. What the heck's going on around here?
Oh, and mind you, I shot at the bear that I missed at 10 a.m. Johnny killed his bear at 11:30 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a good day.
Yeah. Morning one. We haven't even had coffee yet. Like, what is happening? Maybe that's why I missed. We need some dark timber.
Well, yeah, there you go. The one thing that people always say, Johnny, is that if you're a bow hunter and you take a rifle, you might as well leave the bow in the truck because you're just not going to use it, right? It's never going to happen because you'll always do that. Well, I'm 200 yards away. I could stalk this thing, or I'm 377 yards away, whatever. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, guys. I want you to continue.
No, I love that. So I will say this. I would have stalked it if Tony would have shot and killed his bear. Because regardless, we would have had time to let that bear die and give us some time. And I'm pretty sure, and I believe that we would have seen this bear pop out of the woods. So it would have given me opportunity to stalk, but I totally am going to remember that from now on and really dedicate myself.
If you really want to hunt with a bow, don't take a rifle. So in your guys' instance, obviously it was not going to happen because Tony was hunting with a rifle. But I've heard of people doing that before, and they're like, I didn't need that bow. So, yeah. All right. So moving on, right? Moving on. We've got one bear down.
If we got one bear down, we make it over there. We bring Doug, and we actually had the opportunity to teach Doug how to gut and skin an animal, and he got to process pretty much most of the entire bear himself, which was such a cool experience. We pack it out. It's afternoon. We really took our time on the process, breaking it all down. We're like, we need to eat. We haven't even gotten a chance to like really eat and settle in. Haven't even set up camp or anything. So we pack the bear out. We head back. We call it Morel Mountain. Because we found just so many morels last time. And so my buddy Clint, he packed in a full onion. He's like, I'm packing this in. We're gonna make sure we eat this with tenderloins on the mountain. So, and then we'll also pick some morels. It's gonna be beautiful. Clint's the idea man. So we're like, so let's get back to camp. We get set up, we eat, all that stuff, and then it's like, it's time for the evening hunt.
Yep.
We're probably going to blow this canyon out. We've already taken 3 shots within an hour and a half. We've been in the draw processing. Let's go take a walk. So Tony, take it from here, man.
So we take a walk to this road that we didn't go to last time we were at this location. And we're thinking we didn't explore deep enough last time we were here. Maybe that's why we only saw one bear. So let's take it deeper. So we walk around and we're seeing new land and glassing around. And that's basically the early evening hunt for us. And so it starts getting dark. It wasn't much action. We didn't see anything other than exploring the area a little bit more. And so we're trying to game plan and think about what we're going to do. So we decided to kind of go work our way back towards where I had shot from, that little peak where I shot from and missed, because at that point you can pick off all these different hillsides. And even though we had shot into that hillside, we're like, well, maybe one will come. Oh, because we thought the bear I missed went over the hillside. Maybe it wrapped around and now it's down low out of that drainage. So let's see if we can't find eyes on it. So, and it's closer to camp, so it's an easy hike back in nighttime, when it gets dark. So we start hiking to the exact spot where I took that shot. And on our way there, we didn't even make it to the point. On our way there, on a different hillside, we see another bear just working its way up, feeding. And who spotted that? I didn't spot that one, did I?
No, I think Two Shot, you spotted them all.
Okay. I did. Yeah, you're right. No, I did, which I was proud of, because I was like, sweet.
He's a little out of it still from taking a couple of dome shots from the scope.
Oh, man, it's such a crazy hunt. So, right. Okay, yeah, just like before. Hey, there's a bear. And now this one is 130 yards away is what I ranged at.
I'm thinking to myself, I don't say it, but I'm like, dude, chip shot. Come on, baby.
Chip shot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I learned from my mistake. I'm laying prone. It's 130 yards. I'm like, sweet, redemption on day one. I didn't think I was going to get another shot. I was pretty bummed about it. And I get set up 130 yards. Boom, take a shot. Scope check. took my scab dried. So I was healing. Boom, blood gushing down my face. And to make things worse, I missed at 130 yards. And I know I missed because I was probably anticipating getting punched in the face again.
Yeah, you were
definitely.
So I jerked the hell out of that thing. I pulled, yeah, big time.
And I'm mad at this point. Like, no, this is not happening. So I get another round in there, and it kind of ran a little bit and kept going, and it stopped, and I was on it. And I was like, I don't care if just like what Johnny said, I don't care if I get scope checked, I'm killing this bear. So I just held steady, boom, took a shot, got scope checked. I'm like, what is happening? But this time I hit it, and it starts rolling around, and it tumbled down the hill. It got up, started running. As it's running side hilling, which is a good sign, it wasn't running uphill, it tumbled some more. And I'm like, it's going to drop right there. And it just kept running, and it was going to intercept this road that we were kind of started hunting on. And so I put another one in the chamber, and I get up, and I'm sprinting towards this road to where I think it's going to come out. And my right eye is fuzzy. Like it's hard for me to see. Like I don't know.
He looked like Rocky Balboa.
Like I'm kind of stumbling. I'm thinking, dude, I don't even know if I can get another shot because I can't even see out of my right eye. And the bear barely gave us any line of sight. It was booking it. Jumped into some thick stuff. At this point, it was getting really dark, and it went in to some dark woods. We kind of walked down this road to see if it wouldn't pop back out, but we didn't want to push it, right? So I am feeling very down on myself because I didn't drop it where it laid at 130 yards, and my face is bleeding. I'm hurting. I don't feel very confident. It's when you hear that hunting is more than just pulling the trigger, more than killing an animal, it's the journey. I went on one of the biggest emotional roller coasters of my life. Like I hadn't experienced these types of feelings before because I'm still a new hunter and I haven't taken many animals. So all these feelings are still new to me. So I'm struggling with that. We talk like, okay, we can't go. And I'm like, dude, I just want to see if he's dead right there. And they're like, no, you got to wait it out. Don't push it. So we go back to the footage and we're like, okay, you hit it good. We found blood where it jumped in. Like there's a solid blood track from where he's running, like nonstop. And so they're like, it's dead. So let's go back to camp. Let's eat some food, have a good sleep. We're going to get up. We're going to track this bear. And I'm like, all right, I've heard of stories like this. We're going to do it.
So I'm going to jump in real quick here. So can I share your nickname with everyone?
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so
it's part of the story.
So a part of the story is that Tony, I love giving
this
people
is why
nicknames.
I'm not telling this story. He can tell a story because I'm not going to tell it.
So probably from the first year you and I ever went hunting together.
Yeah.
Tony's nickname is Two Shot. Two Shot Tony. And I hate to say it, I love you, man. You are awesome, but you are living up to your name to the T on this bad boy and getting scope checked on it at the same time. And I'm just like, oh, dude, come on. Eventually, you got to kill one shot. So we back out. We're lifting spirits. We're like, all right, this is a dead bear. We're going to find it. We got to give it time. There's blood. We mark it on Onyx. We're good to go. Let's back out. Well, when Tony started chasing the bear to try to cut it off at the road, I left my tripod, which I was filming off of, and Tony left his backpack. And so Tony's uphill, and I'm like, I'm going to sneak down and go take a look. Another bear comes up the exact same drainage at 100 yards. And I'm like, Tony, how many rounds do you have left? And so we were short on rounds. We just shot a bear, and I'm like, oh, here's another chip shot. This one could really round it off. We do not take the shot, but here's four bears all within a quarter mile of each other on day one, and we've already ripped off 5 shots. So
incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
Action-packed day. Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
So we make it back to camp.
Yeah, let's go to camp.
We're kind of all in shock. Like, did this really just happen? And here's Tony. Like, you feel bad for the guy. He's got black eyes, blood on his nose. Like, all we want to do is get him a bear. He's been waiting years for this. And he has to wait a little longer. A little longer. I'll tell you what, it was hard to go to sleep that night.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure.
Laying in the tent, just being the anticipation. So Tony, this is your story. So go ahead.
So laying in bed, I'm literally watching bears running. Like, you're counting sheep when you go to bed. I'm seeing bears. I'm like, this was an incredible day, to say the least. So we get up in the morning. Everyone has been really great with trying to boost my morale and saying, that's a dead bear. So I'm anxious to get out there and start tracking. It rains like around midnight, just dumps. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So it stopped raining. When we woke up, it was done raining. So we made some breakfast and some coffee, went to where the last saw blood, and we start tracking, and it's blood. Oh yeah, that's a lot of blood. This is great. It's going to be no more than 20 yards in here. Blood gets a little thinner, a little harder to see. Luckily it stopped. It never rained again for the rest of the morning, and it was pretty thick. So, it was more wet on the outside. As we go in deeper, it wasn't as wet. And we're seeing blood, and you find blood, and then sometimes it takes 10 minutes to find the next drop.
Mm-hmm.
Every
hands
time
and knees,
long,
looking around.
Hands and knees. Every time it was longer than 10 minutes to find the next, I get butterflies and my stomach start turning, like, oh no, I didn't kill it. Find blood. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And cause we're like, oh yeah, it's dead. It's dead right in there. And we're tracking on Onyx. So we know how long we're tracking. We know how far. Hour goes by, haven't found it yet. We're still tracking. It takes us 3 hours to where the end of our blood trail finishes. And our buddy Doug, the new hunter, he yells, bear. And I was like, no. Dead bear, not a real bear, not a live bear. Because that could have happened with our story.
Right. Sounds like it in that unit.
So So find this bear buried under a tree, hard to see. Get over to it, recover it. Amazing what ground shrinkage can do, because I thought it was a bigger bear than what it was when it's running, and I'm thinking, holy crap, I did it. Like, I think I was like, like, thank you, Jesus, and fell back. Like, the hunt is like, I was so at such unrest with, I don't think we're going to find this bear, that boom, we find the bear and get hands on it. And me and Johnny hug. Mission is complete. We're celebrating. We have waited so long for this. Johnny hasn't, because I killed my first big game animal, which was a deer, solo hunting, and wished Johnny was there. And so to take an animal with my original hunting partner, my best friend, that was the coolest experience, to be able to do that. And that's what we sought out to do, is to tag out, to finish this hunt. And we were able to do that. And it was it's one of those hunts that I will never forget.
No way.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
No way you ever will.
Dude, it was
like,
so.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go back. Let's go back.
I'll tell you this. So I felt horrible when Tony shot his first deer, or your only deer.
Yep.
And I wasn't there. I just had a newborn son.
Also, I shot that deer with one shot, by the way.
Yeah.
But
sure
no
you
one was
did.
there to witness
Sure
it.
you did.
Well, that's what he said. There was no one to prove it. So he ends up killing this deer. I don't get to help him pack out all this stuff. Well, ever since our very first hunt, where I killed my black bear, 9 miles deep in the backcountry, I've packed around a little whiskey to celebrate. Yeah. I have had this whiskey in my backpack since 2017, and I finally just got to crack it, Tony, this hunt. And
every hunt we've been on, he's like, dude, I brought the whiskey, and we have not been able to drink it until this very hunt. And it was like, oh, what a victory,
Good tasting whiskey, I'm sure.
Oh, it was amazing. And I'll tell you what, and this goes for like all hunters out there. Killing an animal yourself is super awesome. But when you get to be with somebody for them to fill their tag, that is a super special feeling. And especially you killing your very first bear, us putting in for spring bear for multiple years, talking about, hey, it's going to happen. I really believe in the power of manifestation. You speak what you want into existence. I mean, like, Tony, you and I are tagging out this weekend. You're tagging out this weekend. And just saying it over and over like a mantra. And sure enough, we're in paradise, just enjoying ourselves and seeing bears left and right.
That's right.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm super happy for you guys, and what a fantastic story. What's next? What do you guys got going on the rest of the year? Any more tags? You got any elk tags, deer tags? What do you got?
Yeah, we actually drew a wonderful cow archery elk tag for late November, early December here in the state of Washington. So
which is another special draw for Washington. So that's our second special draw permit, which is, we're on fire. So we were happy to draw something else.
Yeah.
So do you guys both have tags?
Yep, we both have tags. It's one of those things where we put in together as a team.
Okay, cool.
So Tony's going to shoot his first elk on that one, but our next hunt is going to be
keep saying it, right? Keep saying it. We're going to kill elk that weekend. We're going to kill elk that weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. Here's what I'm saying. I've never done this before, but I'm going to fill every one of my tags this year. I'm going to shoot another black bear. We're going to go on a backcountry bear hunt in the beginning of August, and then we got archery elk, rifle deer, and then the late season cow tag. But yeah, we're filling tags, baby, putting meat in the freezer. We got to create our existence and believe what we say and live it.
That's right, baby.
So excited.
Man, how fun. You guys are fun guests to have on. Johnny's always fun. Tony, we're buddies now, so we're fun. You're fun too. So that's good.
Thanks.
Good, man. I'm glad go ahead, Johnny.
I just got to say this real quick. Sorry, Chad.
You're good.
Before I shot my rifle, when I shot my bear, I was like, oh man, Tony and I have an opportunity to be blood brothers right here.
That's
Hey,
right.
what rifle were you shooting? Just curious.
Yeah, shooting Kimber Adirondack in 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay,
So it had the 18-inch barrel.
right on. That's a sweet little
Yeah,
rifle.
pushing a 143 grain ELDX by
Yeah,
Hornady.
yeah, right on. Cool. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I think we'll wrap it up there. I, as soon as I saw that Johnny sent me that video, and I was like, well, this is over. I know what my podcast next week is going to be. So, and then,
Yes.
so I didn't know you guys had two tags. I wasn't really tracking the hunt or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm texting Johnny and I'm like, hey, dude, want to record a podcast? And he's like, we got more tags to fill, dude. We're going to get Tony a bear too.
Yep.
And I
Yeah,
was like,
dude.
oh, okay, cool. Let me know when you come out. And then, like, well, the next day, obviously, I see pictures on social media of this bloody ass nose with a bear, right? And I'm
Yes.
like, whoa, they got two
That's right.
bears.
Dude,
Adds to the story.
the morning we packed out, another bear popped out on that hillside.
Yep.
That exact same drainage, like where packs are on, tags are filled, and all of a sudden another one pops out.
No more than 20 yards from our tents.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So
Hey, who was the, is it Revolve Entertainment? Is that right?
Revel, like revolution.
Rebel. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rebel
Yep.
Entertainment. Right on. Talk about them a little bit. I know you've been kind of running with them this spring and doing some stuff with them. What's going on with them?
Yeah, so Revel Entertainment is by a guy named Clint Easley, and I ended up meeting Clint Easley through Jana Waller, who she introduced us. Clint ends up being from the state of Washington, but for his full-time gig, he's a videographer, photographer, and producer. So he actually videos and produces the hunting show Hollywood Hunter, and now also the Maverick. Well, it turns out he only lives an hour away from me, and here we are, striking up a conversation, become buddies. We ended up going to the Western Hunt Expo together, shared a hotel room, and just became really good friends. And we realized that this is something that we could collaborate on and really make an impact, because there's always stories to be told. Every hunt has a story, but specifically when it comes to hunter recruitment and hunter mentorship, it has the power to transform lives through primal adventure. And that's what hunting's all about. People just give it an opportunity to allow it to transform their life. And so if you take Tony's editing skills, I have a tendency to be in front of the camera a little bit, and then Clint's videography and photography skills, the three of us decided to do a lot of collaboration. And this hunt turned out great. The film is not complete as far as what we're doing, because the story is going to be about Doug, the new hunter. So Doug drew a special tag this year where he's going to be able to get his first deer in the month of August. And then we are going to follow him on his journey. But really what we have planned is to submit some films to some different film festivals like Badlands, and who knows what Tony. Yeah, depending on the animals that we go for. So yeah, some great things that are happening.
Is that a buck tag for Doug, or is that a doe tag?
It is a doe tag. It is
okay.
actually the same tag I drew last August where I shot my first deer.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
A lot of good things happening over there at Washington Backcountry.
That's right. So definitely go check out Revel Entertainment on Instagram. He is throwing up some amazing photography, a lot of cool content, and you'll see him running with Washington Backcountry boys quite a bit also.
That's good, man. Sounds like you guys have a good thing going. And I think that mentorship, of course, mentorship as conservation is, that's totally your thing. And believing that creating new hunters and mentoring new hunters is going to obviously evolve conservation even further. And I totally agree with that. So I just think it's cool, man, that you were able to link up with him and get him out there and show him the ropes.
Yeah. Well, I believe that there's no coincidences in life. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. And so it's just our job to walk through everything and create it as we go. So, yeah. Chad, thanks for having us on, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, real quick, I also wanted to add that I think it's cool that he has mentors like you guys who have been doing it when you guys were mentored by a yoga teacher. And I think that's something totally different.
Yeah, so we were there to point the bears out for Doug. When we were on our first hunt, we had a yoga instructor from Seattle and her 3 students pointing them out for us.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
Well,
some
she
pay it
was
forward.
mentoring you and didn't even know it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, bear.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations to both of you, Tony. Certainly, congratulations to you. That's incredible. Hopefully, I think you'll get healed up
Thanks
here
for
pretty
allowing
soon.
me to tell the story. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. Definitely. Definitely. All right, guys. I think we'll cut it off right there and we'll call it a night.